All right. Welcome to the tea shop. And somebody has, in my previous episodes, I was drinking water, and people have pointed out that we don't drink tea. So I went to Amazon and I got myself a teacup.
That's
and,
good. Yeah.
and it's actually, well, it's got coffee in it, but
Yeah.
nobody knows. But today, I have Warren Brown, originally from Calcutta. I know very few things about him. I know probably like 3 bullet points about him, which is why we do this, right? To get to know people, and I want to discover them live, and not have already have questions to chat about. So I know 3 bullet points, but we're going to know a whole book about Warren by the end of this. And Warren is from Calcutta, but now in the UK. But there's a lot that happened, and he has some really interesting stories. So Warren, thank you so much for doing this. I'm always in awe when people say yes, because it's the time, right? So I appreciate it. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. Warren, the floor is all yours. Tell me who you are, where you're from. Just give us the maybe the 10 bullet points, and then we'll dive into the details.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Conrad, for the invitation to your little chai shop. Appreciate it. I didn't bring a little teacup with me because I have a big teacup, a large one I usually have. My dad and I and the family would always love tea. A family who loves tea, because we were all writers. We call it the brown tea stall. So we're always making up tea and having our own tea. Yes, I'm from Calcutta. I'm born in Calcutta and grew up there. I'm in the UK for over 2 decades now. I've been writing from my teens. I think I first wrote a poem, Lady of the Sea. That was my first ever when I was 17. So a couple of decades have passed, and I've been writing a lot. I love writing. It's in my genes, like I say. It's my genetic inheritance because my dad was a writer. Dad passed away last year at the age of 84. So he was a great
54.
mentor. 84.
Oh,
Yeah.
84. Okay.
84. So he was a great mentor and a guide for me as a writer. And he inspired me, in fact, to become a writer, which I thoroughly enjoy. I'm a writer on Medium. I've written over 3,800 articles, stories, poems, and published 116 books on Amazon and other platforms. I focused on Anglo-Indians at the beginning of my career as a writer. I wrote The Secret Race Anglo-Indians and Race Preservation Course for Anglo-Indians. And then I had Vintage Tales, which was a collection of my short stories on Anglo-Indian life and Anglo-Indians during the colonial period in British India. Otherwise, I write about everything under the sun. That's my policy. Thinking 360 degrees, never limiting yourself, because you get many people who are very narrow-minded and focused only on one thing. So then they exclude everything else around them that's happening, and then they have very narrow vision. So keeping that in mind, it's always been my policy to write about as many things as possible, as diverse as possible. So I write articles, poems, stories. I focus on science fiction, thrillers. I've written about 3-4 novels so far. I've got 1 or 2 Anglo-Indian stories which I'm working on, which one's been in the works for about 10 years because it's a project it's in the back burner, still developing it.
Yeah,
but it's an Anglo-Indian story. It's about origins.
Okay, nice.
And it's like my
Is it fictitious or is it
it's how we came about, something like that. And my grandfather was from England. He left in 1903. So then when he went down there, he married my grandmother. Dad was born in India. Then I was born later. And so those are my roots. So coming back to England was like completing the circle. So my grandfather never came back because he died over there.
Yeah.
So I completed the circle. So
Oh,
by
wow.
coming back home, so to say.
That
So
itself
that's the motherland.
is
I
a
call this
nice,
fatherland.
yeah. That has
So
some romantic
to complete
aspect
the
to it,
circle
right?
of
That
life,
story.
yeah, sort
Yeah.
of,
Yeah. Yeah.
in a way, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I
Awesome.
enjoy writing a lot, and in fact, I devote a lot of my time to writing. So I have a job, takes care of the bills, but I
Yeah.
love to write.
Yeah.
I'm a life coach, a writing coach, and an independent author.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
It's
an
a lot of
independent
work.
author, yeah, because um, I decided to be better to have more control over what I write, how I write it, and where I publish it. Because ultimately, whether you're a traditional author or an independent author, you have to take care of your own marketing,
Yeah.
sales, publicity. Means
Yep.
they do everything for you.
Yep.
And Vanity Press, they give you, here's your 20 copies or 100 copies, now you do what you want. So it's better to be an independent writer and publisher, in my opinion. And I have been doing it from 2010. That's my first collection of books that I brought out
Wow.
2 years after Mum passed away. Mum passed away in 1998,
Hmm.
and then I published my first collection of about 10 books, which concluded poetry, a book of 75 poems. Then we had cookery, then we had marketing, then we had a fiction stories collection. So I just love writing. So I feel that's my mission in life. Now,
Hmm.
the topics I handle can be environment, can be Anglo-Indians, but I don't focus on one to the exclusion of others.
Sure. Sure.
So
Awesome.
I'll
Awesome.
stop now.
So,
I'll stop now
so
to give you a chance.
no, no, no. That's perfect. I've never met someone who's so no, that's not true. It's not. But I like that writing is very clear. I don't think anyone can meet you and then walk away and not feel like I wonder what Warren really likes. It's very
Yeah,
clear what you're passionate about,
yeah,
and that bubbles up from you. So it's amazing to meet people who care about what they do, who love what they do, right? And I think even if you were talking about like accounting, right? Like I'd love accounting. I love doing, like I'd be passionate. Hey, let's do accounting. It sounds amazing, right? You're a good steward of writing, right? You make it
yeah.
exciting because you love it, So it's great to see that passion,
Now I'm
you
into
know.
AI. I'm looking all into AI. I'm going full ahead, trying to figure out what it's all about. But like a writer, I am thinking about the future. Like, what could it do in the future? Now, there are many people who want to take AI as a tool to write their
Yep.
stuff and say,
Yep.
"Oh, I've written so many books and published by me," when actually AI has done it all. So now for those writers, I'd say, good for you. Go ahead, print 100, print 1,000 books, and put your name on it. If AI has done it for you, good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
But that won't fulfill your soul ambition. If you are
Yeah.
truly a writer, you will
Yep.
want to put your words, your stories, your
Yeah.
ideas
It's an
into
art.
your crafting stories, and
Yeah.
that's what I enjoy. And that's also an influence from my dad, Melvyn Brown, because he
Yeah.
was a storyteller.
Yeah.
So for
Let's get
several
into
years he
your
taught
let's
creative English.
let's talk about your dad. We'll get to them. I really want to spend a good amount of time, but since we're on AI, right? Yeah. Is there any? I wouldn't say fear. Like if AI is on everybody's minds, right? They
Yeah,
talk about AI is going to
yeah,
take your job. AI is going to do this, right? And is it a fear in the writing community, or is it a concern? I know it. I know from a consumer, right? From a consumer, I want to read someone's soul, right? Like I want to read the art form, right? And I'm sure AI can mimic that, but it's coming from hardware, software, right? There's no soul, right? But uh, but is there any concerns in the writing community about AI? Do you guys talk about it?
yeah. There's a
Yeah,
great concern. Everybody's
yeah,
worried
yeah.
that they
Have you
can be
seen any
replaced.
effects already?
Yeah, because AI has reached a state, a level where you can train AI to write like you. So it means even if you take the work of Dickens or Tolstoy, Dickens and these are Shakespeare, and they are my heroes, naturally being a writer. But now you can train AI with their works to write like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is definitely a threat, but ultimately it is this is important, the human contact,
Yep.
speaking to a person,
Yep.
knowing what makes them tick, knowing the way they
Yep.
think, because we
Yeah.
all carry a map in our mind. Now that's from my work as a hypnotherapist and hypnotist. We all carry a map in our mind, so that's important to know how we work. There are a few essential things that are important to us, and that makes us think the way we think. There are a few elements in our lives that has crafted us into who we are
Yep.
today.
Yep.
So AI poses a threat to the writer who's worried about it taking over. But then who would want to write like me? I mean, you would rather put your name on it and write like you
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if you were a person who wants to use AI. I mean, who would want to, or unless it's a best-selling author and you want to copy their work, James
Sure.
Patterson, or
Sure.
copy his work and
Yeah.
teach AI how to write like
Yeah.
James Patterson, because everyone has a formula. We all have a formula and a method, but ultimately it's what we produce that will speak more than what AI can produce, and AI will keep producing things. I mean, with AI, it's a question of, is it financially viable? Means, is it helping people? Is it helping society? I mean, who would bother duplicating a writer's works when it's not really helping stop illnesses, or make agriculture, science and research better? But there are large improvements happening right now in the field of science, technology, medicine with AI, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So as a writer, and writers are futurists, especially those who write about science fiction stuff. Like, before the submarine became a reality, Jules Verne had written about it. I mean, now the state is reached in for scientists, where they look towards writers for new ideas.
Yeah.
Flying ships, flying saucers, all
Yeah.
these new age
Yeah.
stuff, those are key elements that scientists can develop, inventors can create new worlds. And we are moving to a brave new world, I'd say. And AI can be used, it's a tool, in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
not something to be
Absolutely.
afraid of, because
Absolutely.
ultimately the things we create can destroy us, just like the man who created the atom bomb, Oppenheimer, and
Yeah.
stuff, and that kind
Yeah.
of the nuclear bomb,
Yeah.
nuclear fusion and fusion, and E is equal to mc squared, Einstein's theories, all that can be developed, but there are also creative and constructive uses they can be put to. And that's what most of us are worried
Yeah.
about. It could
Yeah.
destroy us. We could
Yeah.
destroy ourselves, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
But it's what AI can do in the future, which is remarkable. Who knows, with the help of AI, we could be traveling in outer space. We could be
Well, that's absolutely
moving
going to
towards the
happen.
future, a new
Yeah.
future when Earth becomes overpopulated or contaminated and impossible to live in. I
Yeah.
mean, who has the intellect and the intelligence? No human scientist has the intelligence to create, to solve these problems for a fact. Now, with quantum computing also brought into the frame, which is one little chip that does the work of a billion computers. That's amazing. I mean, okay, people are worried about AI, or it knows more than I do. The simple search engine Google knows more than we do. If
Yes.
you search for Anglo-Indians, you'll get a billion pages turning up about Anglo-Indians' history, culture, heritage, where they're from, who they are,
Yeah.
what's important,
Yeah.
what
That's
they
true.
are, and how they think. And that's more than one person knows in his or her lifetime. That's more than even
Yeah.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, our brains are like little grains of sand in any case. Even if you have the most basic search engine, it can. And what is AI when you have these big searches like Chat GPT-4? What do you have? It's basically a search engine getting information from everywhere.
Yeah.
But what got
Awesome.
me into AI was the art, was the generation of art, because it was like magic. I had the words, I had the magic words. I used the magic words and I asked AI, create this particular image to reflect this particular poem I've written or this particular story, and it generates it. I
Yeah.
mean, okay, for
What did
artists,
you
it is
use?
not fair.
ChatGPT or Midjourney?
ChatGPT 4, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And there are a lot of AI art generators that you can create amazing art, like Leonardo and Night Cafe and stuff like that. So that got me into AI. As a writer, I wanted my words to be illustrated into pictures, and I saw this was amazing. No doubt there's no soul in it, I agree with that. But then, if you're writing something like science fiction, if you're writing things from your mind, you're writing things which are imaginary.
Yeah.
And no
Could
doubt they
you
say, I know it's not fair with artists, but ultimately, it's just another art form.
Yeah. Could you pick out something that's been written by AI as a writer? Could you, if you were to read like a book that was, if somebody was to, if I were to write a book
Yeah,
completely with AI and give it to you and not tell you it's AI, would you be able to
yeah,
discern?
yeah. Because they
Yeah.
have a tendency to keep repeating the idea that was repeated the first time. So if you
Got it.
go far enough and deep enough, you will find a similar idea coming up repeatedly. Repeatedly. They keep repeating the same idea because, after all, they are just machines being told. Create an outline of a man who sells his farm, who goes out to get his fortune, and he takes a ship, he travels miles, he gets shipwrecked on an island. So it'll make it another Robinson Crusoe story. And then there will be many little, you can say, Easter eggs that will come up, which will be repeated at different points in the story. So there is a way to detect AI
Yeah.
in writing. There's a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And I'm a sort of sniffer out. I can sniff
Yeah.
out AI in writing. So I know
Awesome.
because I'm also
Yeah.
an editor and publisher on
Yeah.
Medium. I have my
Yeah.
own publications, but plus I help with the editing of other publications. And over there, I find writers who do use AI because there's a format they like to, a formula, which is very AI in
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Awesome. Let's go back. Awesome. So I'd love to talk more about this, but I want to know you as well. Where were you born? Were you born in Calcutta?
I
Are
was born
you,
in Calcutta.
which
Yeah, I was
part?
born in Calcutta. I grew up there, went to school over there, college, finished university, met my wife there. Then we
Nice.
got married in Cal. Then we were working there, and then we moved over here.
How was life in Calcutta as an Anglo? How was the community there? See, I'm from the south,
Yeah, I
and
know it's different in the south,
I'm from
must be.
Madras. Yeah, and our
Yeah,
perception of Calcutta, they're mythical people. These
yeah, yeah,
Calcutta Anglo-Indians,
yeah, yeah.
for the people
Many.
who, we just know they exist. We've never seen them. They could be aliens. We don't know, right? We've heard about them, and it always seems like a magical place. Like how is life? Because Calcutta seems to have a richer history
Yeah,
with the East India Trading Company, at least, and it just like if you look at the oldest tea shop is actually in Calcutta. I think it's maybe not the oldest, maybe the most popular.
yeah, yeah.
I watched
Popular
this
one, College
documentary. It's a
Street. Yeah, College
Yeah, yeah,
Street.
yeah.
Okay.
It has its own culture
Yeah,
that is so cool and so I'm always like, how was did you feel that enriched culture while you were growing up, or was because you grew up it was just part of your
yeah. It was
surroundings?
part of life, no doubt.
Yeah.
I took things for granted, but because my dad was popular, he came across. He would interact with many popular Anglo Indians at that time. Now the numbers are not so many like before. The years have gone, many have passed away. But there were many legends, I could say. My dad interacted with Frank Anthony. Then,
Really?
yeah, he knew him. Then the O'Briens, Neil O'Brien, he
Yeah.
was a publisher over there, Oxford University Press. Then there was Wilson de Rose, a barrister. He was a great chap. I had even the privilege of meeting over there. He wrote a book also. Then there were many priests also who were Anglo-Indian priests, Jesuit priests, because I worked for about 11 years in a Jesuit institution. So we had many Anglo-Indian priests also who were working there. So yeah, you would get Anglo-Indians everywhere. Around the corner, you'd see them passing on weekends. Everyone was in the new market buying stuff. Christmas was the best time because you see many Anglo-Indians around. Now there's a cluster of them in picnic gardens in Calcutta. That's where many Anglo-Indians are. But the numbers have decreased from the other places because many have gone away and immigrated. Like my family, my mom had nine
Yeah.
brothers and one sister. They've all
Wow.
gone abroad, yeah, Australia, and they've gone Canada and stuff. So many have immigrated. But the older generations, the legends, like I'd say, you had Carlton Kitto. He was a guitarist. You know, I knew him. Dad knew him because my dad was very involved with the Anglo-Indian community because he had the Anglo-Indian newsletter, which he published from 1991 till about 2020. And it was a newsletter with the highlights about different Anglo-Indians, Anglo-Indian news, and he would also publish the All Parish paper and Catholic news because he worked with the Catholic Church very closely. He was a librarian in St. Xavier's College, and that's where I worked for about 11
Wow.
years. But he worked for over 40 years because he started as a
Wow.
teenager,
Oh,
and
wow.
he was a prolific writer also. His first story was published when he was 17 in the Calcutta Statesman, which is now a paper that's closed its doors, but that was one of those historical papers. And he had also completed a storython, a 3.5 non-stop storytelling session in Calcutta. So and it came up in the National Herald Tribune, his storython. So it was non-stop storytelling. So it was one story that he continued with 100 ideas and 100 characters, and he just wove it into one story. And he would do all the
Wow.
voices, which was amazing. So they would children in school would call him Uncle Melvyn, the storyteller, because he was known for that. Because he
So
would
tell
teach
us,
creative writing using the medium of stories, and that was amazing. And that's what influenced me to become a
yeah.
storyteller as well.
So tell us more about your dad. I know your dad is a well-known person,
Yeah, he
a
was very
well-known
well known.
writer. So and he sounds like an awesome person. So help us get to know him. Tell us about the man, and then tell us about his writing and his accomplishment.
Yeah,
How was he as a dad, as a person? You were obviously, you're his son. You know him more than other people know. People see him as a writer, right? But tell us about the man. Let us get to know your dad.
yes,
Brag on him. Uh, let's know him. What's his name? Was he? Yeah. Tell
yeah,
us.
sure.
Tell us
Yeah,
everything.
Dad was born in Pune. Then he moved to
Mm.
Calcutta, I think, when he was a baby. But he grew up in Cal, like myself, and he lost both his parents when he was pretty young. So then he started working, and he would do one-man shows where he would perform. They would call it the bandwagon. They would call it, where they
Yeah.
would have. This was even before I was born. So I was talking about the '60s now. '60s, '68. So it was in the '60s. So they would have the bandwagon concerts where they would have one man organizing a show with 100 different talents all coming together. Not 100, I'm exaggerating, but a number of talented individuals coming together. And then
Sure.
Dad would do his performances and he would say stories. And then he was also into writing a lot. He would do a lot of writing, sending his articles here, then everywhere, all around to be published. He self-published a number of books. World Famous Lovers was one. The Grateful Genie, The Two Tall Prince, then a poetry collection. And then later on in years, in 1991, he started the Anglo-Indian newsletter. So he published, during that period, he published
Was he still
Anglo-Indian
in Calcutta
archives.
at this point in time?
Sorry?
Was he in Calcutta at this
Yeah,
point
yeah,
in
he
time?
always stayed in Cal. He
Oh,
was in
okay.
Cal. So everyone knew him around Cal and around the world. In fact, people were familiar with Melvyn Brown. I made a number of websites and wrote stuff about him also over the years. And he was also he took part in that interview with Who Do You Think You Are with Alistair McGowan. He was a British comedian who had Anglo-Indian roots. So he met my
Is it
dad over
on?
there.
Can we
So
find this episode? Is it like on YouTube
I
or
think
something?
I tried to put
Yeah,
them all together. I tried to get all
please,
this and put it together in websites and
please.
links and all that. There'll be a barrage of links I'll be sending you. But no, I tried to put it all together because this work is otherwise forgotten.
Yes,
These moments in
absolutely.
time are forgotten. Now, my dad also knew, and I knew, the first Anglo-Indian rocketeer was Stephen Hector Taylor Smith. His son stayed just around the corner, and Dad and I knew him well.
Really,
Yeah, and he was India's first rocketeer, Anglo-Indian rocketeer, and a stamp was designed for him, Stephen Hector Taylor Smith,
no
which
way.
is over there online, and there was another one. Yeah,
That's a collector's item.
Henry Gidney, that designed that stamp for Dr. Henry Gidney, an Anglo-Indian surgeon who was in India during the 50s, I would think, 50s and 60s. So after he passed away, he became well known in India, in Calcutta even, and Dad designed his stamp. And he worked with an MP, an Anglo-Indian MP, when they worked together for doing that. So no, everyone knew Dad during his lifetime. He published a lot of books, and on the Anglo-Indian community, I think he published about 3 or 4 books, and religious books. Then he published a lot, and because he was training to be a Jesuit priest, but after 3 years he left, and then he married my mom, and then my sister and I came about. So, so he had that religious fervor within him. He had that desire to also. He worked closely with the Catholic Church, and he founded the first Roman Catholic lay movement in India, in
Really?
Calcutta, with permission from Rome. It was
Wow.
Pope John Paul II who gave him permission to have such an organization. It was called Ambassadors for Jesus, and it was also listed in the Calcutta Archdiocese Directory. So he had a spiritual advisor. Also, it was a Catholic priest who was appointed to guide him in his work. But as the founder of a lay Catholic movement and being a leader for the Anglo-Indians, he did a lot. He would organize, it started with football tournaments, basketball tournaments, concerts, talent shows. He would bring the people together. So he worked with 2 different, they overlapped, of course. It was the Anglo-Indian community and the Catholic community. He worked with both in the city of Calcutta, so they both were aware of him. Of course, they interlinked in many ways, but he was very popular for all the work that he had done. And he only had to stop, I think, 3 or 4 years before he passed away. Because
Wow.
then, yeah, he was just weak because he was
Yeah.
84 when he passed.
Yeah.
So he had a long life, and it was a
Your
fruitful,
dad.
productive life. And he
Your
did
dad
influence
sounds like
many
a
people.
great contributor. Of
Yeah.
he seems like he did a lot, and he was the first person to do a lot of things, and he contributed and he dedicated a good amount of his life to what he loved, writing and his faith. Even though he did not carry on to be a Jesuit priest, it was very evident. So you can clearly tell, right? You can clearly tell the type of man he was by looking at the works he
Yeah.
has done, right, and his passions. So that's a great story. What was his most famous published works that got him recognition?
It would be the Anglo-Indian books, actually. Anglo-Indian archives, Anglo-Indian encyclopedia that he created here. It would be
How
that,
would
and
we get those? Are those still available?
no, because it was all self-published. So there are a
Mm,
few copies in at home. I have a few hard copies, which I will scan them maybe, and yeah, but they're not readily available in the marketplace.
how do you preserve his work if he was all self-published? Do you have any plans like
Yeah,
to
I'll keep it.
preserve
I'll
it,
keep it.
to digitize it maybe, and
Yeah, Yeah, that's the plan. I plan to digitize his work because he's
Awesome.
done a
And keep
lot. Yeah,
us.
even
I think it's in the history of Anglo-Indians. I think in the history of India, even I think those are important works.
yeah,
I think it's really important. If so, maybe somebody listening to this has some experience and wants to help in and is as passionate, and maybe they'll partner with you and take it as a historical documentation effort, right? Those things should be like if there was a museum for
yeah,
Anglo-Indian culture and
yeah.
heritage, those books, things like that would be preserved. I think we have something like that in the US. It's I forget what it is, but they just document historical things. I forget what it is, but
Because
I
Dad
think in
was known as the Anglo-Indian chronicler because he did have a lot of records and
yeah,
stuff. He would keep articles and
yeah.
stuff, anything
I'm
related to
sure
Anglo-Indians. He had a big
I'm
collection
sure
of
some of the
stuff.
things he has written
Yeah,
down is probably forgotten or just hasn't
yeah,
been documented in the larger history. Like probably some small detail that but is so fascinating that was probably lost forever.
yeah.
That would be
It will
so
be.
cool
Yeah,
to
it will be
uncover.
lost forever. Because he had published several newsletters on the Anglo-Indian community, and that it was 4 pages. It would come out every month, along with all parish paper, which was the Catholic slant to his work. So those newsletters are invaluable because they have so many things about Anglo-Indian history, heritage, and culture over the years. But the sad part was that during his lifetime, he would get just a couple of researchers coming, a couple of interviews, but I didn't see, and he even didn't see, any real benefit of all that work, which was sad. Which was sad, even for the amount of work that he did for the
Yeah,
Catholic Church there and the community there. He even gave awards to many Anglo Indians and to many Catholics in the Catholic Church for outstanding work and contributions. But the bottom line was that after all that was done, it all like evaporated in the sense there wasn't any real appreciation for him as a person who would single-handedly do so much,
yeah,
which was very sad.
yeah.
Me as an observer and as a son
Sure,
would say
sure,
that it was very sad and
sure.
disappointing that Dad put in so much of work into the community, Anglo-Indian community, and into the Catholic Church with his work that he did for the Catholic Church and for the community. He did a lot, but no real appreciation. Because why was this the reason? Because he was one man changing the world. And when you have organizations like you have this association, that association, without naming any, they are all closed groups. They all want to protect themselves and their organizations, their groups, their funds, everything that goes into it. But Dad's work was all self-funded, and he had people who would support him as well. But on the whole, the groups didn't like it. The big leaders, powerful leaders, didn't like it. So because he was one man changing the world, that's why I went so far to create a short movie which is on YouTube, Pioneer Melvyn Brown, because he created awards for Anglo-Indians as well. And over the years, he gave several people awards, people who were not recognized or known, but who were doing great things. So that way, that was disappointing. I would say I would be disappointed actually with the way the Anglo-Indian community and the Catholic community reacted to all this. They took it like a pinch of salt. Oh, he's doing the job, better him than me, sort of that attitude. No, which was not good. He had exhibitions. He had pro-life exhibitions. He had passion exhibitions on the faith. He had passion tableaus. I acted as an apostle. I was the youngest apostle there. It was a Passion of the Christ, which he held in St Xavier's College. I think I was about 16. I held the cross behind Mary in the Pieta scene where she's holding Jesus. So he did a lot, and for the Anglo-Indian community, he did a lot. He would have his regular Christmas trees. He would give food to the poor. He would have regular vigils for the Catholic Church, rosaries. I mean, one man who did so much was amazing.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, no real appreciation.
yeah.
No
Well,
real
it does seem
appreciation, which
that
was
you
sad. I would
It
say.
does seem that you do hold your dad in high esteem, and you did have a good relationship with him, because
Yeah.
you definitely talk about your dad and writing in the same level
Breath.
of passion.
Yeah.
You definitely hold your dad in high esteem, and he seems like a personal hero to you that you just had in close proximity, right? Not
Yeah.
many people have the heroes
No.
around the house
Yeah.
that they can go bump into, right?
I won't forget my mother also. My mother was amazing. I must not forget my mother because
Let's
I
hear
took the
about her.
best from both. From
What's
my
her name?
mom, yeah, my mom was Joan Brown, and she came from a big family, and she learned how to cook. And because when she got married, she didn't know how to cook because she had so many brothers and a sister, and the father wouldn't let her go into the kitchen. But then she learned how to cook, so she learned managing the house, and she would also teach in a part time in a school when we were very young, and she taught me the best of managing a home. She told me, Warren, just see how I cook. You don't even have to come to the kitchen, but see how I cook. So from her, by observation, I learned how to cook, and she was a good friend. Could talk to her about anything, and that was very important. So I believe that I've taken the best from mom and dad. And she would tell us stories because the Arabian Nights, we had a thick book of the Arabian Nights,
Yeah.
Grimm's fairy tales. So she would tell us the stories. On the other hand, other side rather, I'd have my dad creating stories. So we had two storytellers who were growing up there. Yes, so it was fun. It was fun. But she was my hero as well. Mustn't forget that because she did shape me at home in many ways and train me as a what was right, wrong, as a man, how to behave in the world, and
Yeah.
especially the way women are treated in society, which is not right and which has not changed over the years. So the respect, honor, and value the contribution of women in society. That's important. As a man, we should not forget that. So that was very important as well.
Yeah. So it's just you and your sister? Is your
Yeah.
sister still in India? Or is
No,
she
no,
in the
she's
UK?
in Holland, married in Holland with
In
children. Yeah,
Holland? Nice.
yeah, yeah. So
When
yeah,
did you guys, who was the first to leave?
my sister left first. I left a few years later.
Okay, so how old were you when you left Calcutta?
My thir- 30s, I think. Yeah, mid
Okay,
30s, I'd say. Yeah, mid 30s.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then how was it? Did your grandfather obviously is from, where's he from? Were you able to see your extended family, meet them
Yeah,
up?
he was from Sussex. He was from Sussex.
Were you
Haven't
were
been
you able
able
to
to
get
get
into
in touch.
contact?
I
Okay.
was in touch with one family line that was through ancestry.com. That's how they tracked me down when they found our relatives were the same. The
Yeah.
grandfathers and great grandfathers. I
Yeah.
mean, went back 3, 4 generations, they were the same. But I haven't been in touch with them. I think they were pretty old. But yeah, I haven't been in touch with them. But I did get in touch about a decade ago, and it was nice. It was nice because now with genes reunited and genetically you can find
Yeah.
out who you're related to. But I haven't
Yeah.
done that. I haven't
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't tested my genes to see who I'm related to. No, it was fun growing up in Calcutta, and when I visit because my wife has family there, I like the experience because it's crowded. It's crowded
Yeah.
with people. There's a lot
Yep.
of culture there because you've
Yep.
got the Bengali community who are, they love the arts. Then
Yep.
you have
Yep.
the Muslim community there. The biryanis are fantastic.
My God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I go down there, it's a culinary delight for me because
Yeah.
although
And the
I'm slim, I
sweets.
have a good appetite. I like different types of foods, and not afraid of crowds. Unlike many who come abroad and go to Britain and Canada and all that, I go into the crowd because
Yeah.
that's where you get
I love it.
the juice.
Yes.
That's where you get the
Yes.
fun. That's where the fun's happening. So
How risky are you? When I go, I wait for a day at least before I actually go to the corner tea shop and I order tea and I drink it. Yeah, I love, even when I take my kids there, I take them on the local bus. I take them in the local train.
No, it's good. It's good that you are getting them into it. Yeah, it
Yes,
helps. It
it's
helps. Now, I don't have
yeah,
children, but no, when I go down there, my wife's side, we have two boys. They are our godsons. So yeah, we go out with
nice.
them. So on the day itself, I'll definitely could run out and buy kati rolls and egg rolls, and I love the kiri roll and the liver roll, and so they got big places in. Well-known places in Calcutta, like Kako's, where they have Kako's restaurant. They have the Mughlai paratha, and so no, it's fun. It's fun to have all that
Yeah,
experience,
yeah,
because
for sure.
and it's remained the same. So which is a good
Nice.
thing. Which is a good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Because
You
that
did
makes you a
say,
complete person. That makes you a complete person. You
yeah,
have to know where you're from, so you know
yeah,
where you're going. That helps.
absolutely. I'm glad you touched on just the Bengalis, and I think that's what I was alluding to. It's such a when I was saying like Calcutta is such a cool place. It's artsy. That's what it is, right? It's bohemian. It's bohemian in a way, right? It's so that's why it has this cool vibe. It has because it has these people who are thinking like the writers, the
Yeah,
painters,
yeah.
right? They're
Or
thinking
Rabindranath
in
Tagore, yeah. I studied his work in school because my
yeah.
second language I took in school was Bengali. So I read his works in the language, and the beauty is uh,
Wow.
you can experience it better when you read it in the language it is written. No doubt he got the Nobel Prize for English Literature, but if you read his work in his language, like Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, that was Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, it was all anglicized by the British when they went there. Rabindranath Tagore. He was Rabindranath
Really?
Thakur. Yeah, he was one of those. Came from a
I'm
Zamindar
ashamed to
family
say I
over
did
there.
not know that.
I went to his place also in Santiniketan. So yeah, no, that was fascinating. Went with our cousins down there to Santiniketan, the place where he had all the writers come, the
Yeah,
literary hub. And it was fun. It was fun because there's magic in the writing when you read it in the language it was written in originally.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
believe that, yeah. So no, it's fun, and I can understand Bengali, and Hindi was my third language, so I only did it for 1 year when I was about 7 years old.
Yeah.
But Bengali, I did it was one. It was for one class, 40 minutes from standard 7 to 10, and then I did it in my final ICSC there. But I could understand and I can, yeah, speak a bit of the language.
Nice.
Now, the misconception in the West is that if you're from India, you're Indian. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, where
Yeah.
you're from, you're Indian. And
Yeah.
and if you're from Bengal, then you're Bengali. No, you're not Bengali because there are many, many ethnic minority communities
Yeah.
in India,
Yeah.
in Bengal.
Yeah.
Because of the
And
invaders who went into India. There's so many communities and races,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
amazing, which is amazing,
Yeah.
and which people in the West cannot understand. That there's
Yeah.
so many different. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you see the food changes when you're in the
Yeah.
north. The food's different. North Indian
Yeah.
food is very different from South Indian food and from the
Yes.
West and the
Yeah.
East. It
Wait,
changes.
is this a common thing in Calcutta, like drinking tea in these kinds of cups?
No, they have the bhar, but now the bhar is a little chatty. They call it the bhar.
Really?
It's a little wooden, mudden chatty.
So,
It's
like in the
reddish
south,
in
this
color.
is how we drink like the coffee and the
That's in the
tea.
south. Yeah, that's in the south.
This
But
is
now
not
they've
common
gone
in
to
Calcutta?
plastic. Now they've gone, but that's too much of tea. You won't get so much now. Now in plastic cups, the size of my thumb, you get a cup of tea now. That's about, say, it's 40 rupees
Hmm.
for one small cup.
That's crazy.
A small little plastic cups. So even the bar is gone. The little wooden chatty is gone.
Oh, really?
But you still
That's so
get
cool.
some who provide wooden chatties. I call them chatties. Yeah, yeah,
Chatties. I haven't
yeah,
heard that word in ages. That's what
yeah, yeah.
I love when I talk to my friends from who I'm so isolated here, so I don't hear the Anglo-Indian speak
expressions, all those
expressions, and
expressions.
I've kind of forgotten most of them. But when I speak to my friends, who some have moved out of India, but at least they live in clusters of
Yeah,
Anglo-Indians, right? So they have that speak. They meet with each other. They speak like they used to speak. So when I
yeah,
call them up and I like hear these words, like, wow, I haven't heard my tongue spoken by so chatties sounds like a stupid, silly word, but it sounds
yeah,
so
yeah,
refreshing to hear it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I love it. So so you grew up in Calcutta. You till your 30s at least, right? So
yeah,
you've
mid
you've
30s,
got
yeah.
to be part of the country. You were your formative years. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know, um, and then you moved to the UK, and then what happened? How did you?
Yeah. Now, the common thing is, were you shocked at the way things are here? No, I wasn't shocked because being Anglo-Indian, you grew up with a Western mentality. Now that's different. So, with a Western mentality, you're not really shocked or surprised. Because we are the only Indian community, minority Indian community in India, Anglo-Indians whose mother tongue is English, and you have a Western culture. Now, in the West, they believe that we speak Hindu or we speak Hindi or we speak some other
Indian,
language at home.
yeah,
No, Anglo Indians don't. We are Anglo Indians because our mother tongue is English. Our whole way of thinking is Western. So when we were there, we would go to movies, we'd see all the English movies, we'd see a few not really Indian movies, Hindi movies, because it didn't catch me. They were too simple for my mind growing up. It's basically run around the tree, the dowry, the father-in-law, and the vengeance coming back with vengeance, and there's no creativity. I never found that in Indian cinema. Bengali cinema was very artsy, like you say. They had their all those dialogues and those melodramatic
yeah,
moments,
yeah, yeah,
But I found creativity and imagination in Western cinema. So whether it was British movies, whether it was American movies, and my dad encouraged me with DC Comics. I had my first Superboy when I was 6. So I grew up with Marvel and DC. I wasn't really shocked when I came to this country. I mean, I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't as fantastic as I would imagine it to be. So it was an easy move
sure,
into this lifestyle.
sure,
Wasn't a shock for me like many would imagine, because in their mind in the West, they are thinking about the person who's come from the village. Now, Anglo Indians are not
yeah, yeah,
village dwellers, we are urban dwellers. We live in cities, we prefer city life. Now, they are thinking about the person who comes from the village. They're thinking about the typical
sure.
Hindu, the typical
What
person,
what they
villager
see on
in
TV,
India.
right, or in documentaries. That's that's the only exposure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's what their minds are filled with.
yeah,
The Indian, they live in the village. They live beside in a little hut beside some little stream, going out to get fishing or whatever, going to the farm. Now we didn't grow up that way because Anglo Indians. You won't find an Anglo Indian in a little village in a hut. No, at least as far as I remember. So um, so it was a smooth move into the country, and as far as getting used to this lifestyle and stuff. There wasn't much difference. Much difference. How was it
and
in
what?
your opinion when you did you grow up in the U.S.?
No, no, no. I grew up in Madras
Okay,
or Chennai.
okay,
So obviously it's changed to Chennai now, but
yeah,
it's just ingrained. So I still say Madras because I don't live there
yeah, yeah,
anymore. So Madras pops out of my mouth. But no, I grew up there. I think till 20. Moved when I moved here when I
20,
was 27. So again, I'm a fully formed Anglo
yeah.
from the south.
Yeah.
Do you say Calcutta? Clearly, you say Calcutta because it's already ingrained. You don't say
No,
Calcutta.
no, no, no. I do say Kolkata and
Okay,
I do say Calcutta. It
yeah,
depends who you're speaking to. So,
got it.
the Westerner will know Kolkata and the Anglo Indian will know Calcutta.
Yeah.
So you have to, I adapt to the way I react and the way I talk about the city, depending on who I'm speaking to, because your interaction and my interaction with the city and India is much more than the Westerners' interaction with the city and India.
Yeah. That Howrah Bridge, I've been to just once. It
Oh no, we've
was,
been across it several times. My
yeah,
wife's cousins, they go around in the cars. We go for the car rides when we go down there. No, it's
yeah,
fun. And there are other bridges that have come up, Vidyasagar Setu, and they've got malls. The malls are amazing now in Calcutta. There's so many of them, which are very similar to our Western malls. Very similar.
How
They've
about the
got
old
marble
buildings?
polished floors and
Are
stuff.
they still there? Like, I'm sure it has like these old British era,
Yeah,
the
yeah, they got
buildings,
the old
right?
buildings. Yeah, they got the old
Nice.
buildings still there. Victoria Memorial, of course, is classic. Must visit. Indian Museum, also very good. Then they have everything which was before, but the historical places they can't remove. But left to the Indian government, they would try doing that as well. If it was anything that resembled the colonial era, it would be removed. Because that's something that they're trying to remove gradually.
Yeah.
First was the name, and gradually the buildings will go. You'll get new building. If they can do it, they will do it. I mean, they are trying to remove that whole period in history.
So you moved.
And that's why our Anglo-Indian seat was taken, I would think, because they said our numbers are so small that they don't exist anymore, which is not true.
Do you keep up with the politics in India?
Not really interested in politics, but interested in a few events such as these, because these are
Got it.
milestone events to have
Yeah, yeah,
representative seats removed. But I'm not so interested in politics, yeah, in
yeah.
that
Okay,
country or this country,
okay.
because politicians eventually resemble one another. I mean, they come
Sure.
under different flags and parties, but they all become the same eventually. They all fall to corruption one way or the other. They all line their own pockets one way or
Yeah,
the other. They see to their children. Family comes first. So their children are always flying to the best schools and colleges and around the world. And they always see to
yes,
themselves. So whether it's
yeah,
any country, there's always going to be a corruption with the
yeah,
politician.
yeah.
That
I
never
would say,
changes,
I would
not
say
throughout
there's just,
history.
I would say just people in power
Yeah, get corrupt one or the
tend
other.
are prone to corruption,
Yeah.
but and I think politicians are just one of those groups that are the people in power. There's CEOs and
Yeah, of
everybody,
course. Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
power corrupts for
Yeah.
sure. But there are some good people out there,
Yeah, very
Uh,
a handful,
yeah,
I would say.
yeah, yeah. So what do you do in the UK now? You're apart from, you said writing is your side gig. It's your hobby. What do you
A
do?
life coach, writing coach, administrator. Yes, so it's basically that. Basically that, yeah. And so I do my writing at the weekends and whenever I have leave, when I have time, and I
S-
focus on my writing. So if one pays off, then I just spend more time on that.
So you said you're also a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, hypnotherapist. Yes, yes.
Is that your main gig? Oh, is that
No, no. It's basically, it would be life coaching and
got it?
writing as a writing coach as well.
So how does hypnotherapist? How did you get into that?
That I did a course a couple of years ago, about 2 decades ago. Yeah. So then I would work freelance as freelance hypnotherapist. So then it was easier. So it frees my time as well. And that was interesting, still interesting. But it depends. Accordingly, I focus on one or the other. So I either focus more on my writing or my coaching, which is also important. So yeah,
How do you
that keeps
become
me
a
going.
hypnot? And what is a hypnotherapist? Like, give me the official
But basically,
definition.
for a person to get in touch with what troubles them, basically, and to
Okay,
help them find a way to resolve those issues. So not like a psychotherapist. Hypnotherapist
got it.
is it's not a psychotherapist. It's a hypnotherapist is using the power of the mind to help them find solutions, to help them find solutions. So you don't force solutions on them like a life coach. So it's like a life coach rolled into a hypnotherapist, basically,
Okay,
where you help people not by telling them solutions, but by helping them to find their own solutions. So yeah, so it's a process that takes time, and which is very interesting. Also very interesting because it's a helpful process, because a person is given an opportunity to find and discover their own solutions which exist within their minds. So they can make a difference
Awesome.
to their lives and change their lives. So that's why my writing is always infused with a lot of life coaching as well, and writing coaching stuff as well. So that's why I have my series, Prolific Writing for Everyone, because anyone can be a writer, but you have to discover the writer within you. So I've even created a site on Wix, and I'll soon have, I think, a proper website where it'll be open to writers so that writers can join and guided along the course to becoming prolific. I mean, anyone can be a prolific writer, but the problem is they have these barriers that come in the way. I'm not good enough. I don't find the ideas, but I help them with my guidance to find ideas, to become better writers.
Do you write every day? Is there some discipline to writing?
No, I don't call it a discipline. It's more like as normal as breathing for me now. So right now I could think of an idea and while sitting down in 10 minutes create a piece. So I've reached that level of writing creativity. So it's writing on call. So I can get in touch with my subconscious mind in whenever I say write, and then that's it, I write. So it's more natural, I would say, not mechanical. It's not like a regime I have to follow, like being in the army or you have to do your exercises every morning. No, it's more like breathing for me now.
Did you have to work at that? Like, how did that?
My passion took me forward. I'd say my passion for writing
so it's
took
something
me forward.
innate, something it wasn't.
Yeah.
I
didn't
think
force myself to write. I just said I need to write because this is what I need to do, and then that's it. So it's like my life coaching that comes in automatically. Like before I know it, I'm telling a person how they can find solutions to anything that troubles them and how they have the power within them to make a difference. So
So did you? Sorry, you're just jumping around. Tell me your wife's name again. I don't want to.
Paula.
Paula. And she has family in Calcutta. Did you guys get married in? Did you guys get married in Calcutta?
Yeah, got
and then
married over there, St. Thomas's Church, Middleton Road,
Nice.
which is a nice large church. It's close to the Loretto House, Middleton Road. That's a nice big school for girls there, run by the Loretto nuns, where she studied as well. I met her there. We got married there. So crossed 25 years, crossed our silver jubilee wedding anniversary.
Nice.
As well. So she works here. She has a job in a company. So it's nice. The two of us. So now we'll be getting ready because it's Saturday, 3 days to Christmas. So we'll go off to do some shopping and to see a few friends and all that. Because I can't believe it. It's just 3 days to Christmas. It's amazing. Yeah. Are you getting ready for Christmas? You got your tree up? Have the children got their prezzies?
Well, I'm really bad with presents in the sense that no. I get presents really early.
Oh, really early? Okay.
But I'm so impatient.
Do they know where it's hidden?
No, they are older than that. But I give the presents away before Christmas, and then I have to buy more stuff.
Oh gosh, okay, you're buying replacement presents. Okay.
So now I have to go get replacement presents because I bought it super early and I can't keep a secret. So don't tell me anything. So I gave it away, and now I have to go get replacement.
Okay.
But so hey, do we share common sweets from like the South Anglos and Calcutta Anglos? Are Kalkals and Roland sweet?
Kalkals are common there. Yeah, Kalkals are common during Christmas. My wife's cousin will be making Kalkals and Rosa cookies. She'll be making
What else do you guys make for Christmas?
Sorry?
What else do you make for Christmas?
Oh, we won't be making Kalkals and Rosa cookies because...
No. Like in Calcutta.
In Calcutta, yeah. Kalkals, Rosa cookies, Christmas cake. When my grandmother was there, she would make Christmas cake.
Is that like a plum cake or?
Yeah, it's a fruit cake. It's a fruit cake.
Okay.
Plus you get, I like the fruit cake. And you have the plain cake also without all the fruits. My dad was very fond of that. But I like the fruit cake, the plum cake.
What about this thing? What about dal dal?
Yeah, I love dol dol also, but now those chaps don't come around anymore and sell dol dol, because when I went last year, we asked, yeah, or this year in March we went down, and my cousin, they have a baker who comes across. They come with a little box on their head, a black box on their head. They carry it around, and he didn't have any dol dol. He didn't know what we were talking about, because I think they've stopped making it. They've stopped
Yes.
making it. Yeah, the bakers would come with their coconut biscuits and their ginger biscuits, yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay, so that I'm glad to know that there was some common sweets. There was like a template of sweets that every
Yeah,
Anglo,
yeah.
no
And
matter
of
where
course,
you
you have the
grew up.
Bengali sweets, which you all don't have, and
Yeah.
the Muslim sweets also.
So that was
We
part of
have
your
the
Christmas?
Bombay halwa. That's fantastic.
Wait,
I
but that
love the
was that
Bombay
like
halwa.
was that part of your Christmas sweets? Like you would
No,
bring
no,
in the
that would be
local
part
things?
of, no,
Okay,
no, that would be part of the Christmas. Christmas would just be the mixed fruits, a bowl of
got it.
big mixed fruits. Then we'd have the Kalkal's rosa cookies, um, Christmas cake, of course. There'll be a lot of Christmas cake, because you get the baker coming with his Christmas cake. The family members making, different aunts and uncles,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
would make in their family's Christmas cake. And then it would be going over to you. They're invited to an uncle's house or an aunt's
yeah,
house, and then everyone goes there for one day, and then you invite them across. And then my mum would do a lot of cooking, so she'd make. Oh, for she had so many brothers and a sister, so she would make a lot of
yeah,
food.
yeah.
She'd make a pulao, vegetable pulao. She'd make a vindaloo, a pork vindaloo. She'd make a nice chicken korma. She'd make a lovely. So
Warren,
I
you
know how
gotta
to cook those
stop
things,
telling
by
me
the way.
all these
She'd
things.
make a lovely salad, a nice salad with lettuce and cucumbers. Yeah, my wife makes a lovely salad as well. And um, so then we'd have sausages, fried sausages, and then we'd have chicken liver, nice chicken liver with potato mash, and then we have a roast, a chicken roast, and mum would make a lovely chicken roast also, a duck roast as well. We were not too
Yeah,
fond of duck, but dad loved duck, so mum would make a duck for the family,
yeah,
and a chicken roast. And so there was a
yeah,
lot of good food. And oh, of course, the meatball curry that would come on
yeah, yeah.
Sundays, of
Of
course, not for
course.
Christmas, but on Sundays, the meatball curry, kofta curry. Yeah, we made kofta. I think last week we made kofta. So
Who cooks more, you or your wife now?
I like to say my wife's the sous chef and I'm the chef. So it's just, she chops up everything, keeps it all ready. Then she calls
Nice.
me. So whatever I'm doing, Warren, it's ready. So then I go running, and I'm just typing some article or finishing a story, and I go running. Yeah, yeah, where is it? And I'll put it all together and make our preparation. And yeah, it's good fun. So it's good fun.
Awesome. Do you know? I was when you were telling me you were self-publishing, right? There's this company that is using AI to actually help people who self-publish, because if you're interested in that, because it's a tool, because they figured out that publishing a book there's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time. So they are on a mission to publish 8,000 books or some ridiculous number a year to help indie publishers using AI. Not obviously not to write it, but they're just using it to streamline all the processes, all the nitty gritty work, and like speed it up. If I remember the name, I'll send it to you. Maybe that could be something that would help you speed up any administrative work that's in the way of getting your ideas out into the world quicker.
I usually use Amazon KDP,
Okay.
and I use Draft to Digital. Then I
Okay.
use Streetlib, that's another one. Then I use, there's a third one, which I was getting a few sales on. I use about three or four. But now,
Nice.
because it's about 2 decades I've been doing it, so for me
Yeah.
it's quite fast.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I give me an hour and I'll have my
Yeah.
book together.
Do you
I
have any
designed the cover
audiobooks?
on Canva. Yeah, I designed
Okay.
it on Canva, and
Nice.
then
Okay.
most of my covers for the last 2 or 3 decades I've been doing it. So it's on Canva. I've been designing stuff, and then I just put the cover onto KDP, and then I edit it accordingly. Uh, I'm quite used to it now. I'm a seasoned veteran now in publishing. That's why I'm
Yeah.
also a publishing consultant.
Yeah.
So for people who need publishing work and all that
How
as well.
many I know you said like thousands
116
of
books so far
articles.
on
Yeah,
Amazon. Yeah.
116 books.
Yeah, different
Yeah,
types. Some are small, some are
yeah, yeah,
booklets, but some are books, proper books. Because the
yeah,
thing with me, I write so much. So
yeah,
the problem is, I take a particular theme and I develop that theme. In no time, I'll have a number of pages, chapters ready. It doesn't take me long. I'm not a machine. I wish I was like a machine, but I don't need to be a machine because I'm a human writing machine.
yeah.
So it's like that.
Are there
Uh,
books that you write that you don't
yeah.
publish? That you feel
So
like are there, was there any a time that you've written a book, you put in a good amount of time, but the end product was like, yeah, I'm not going to publish this. I'm not going. You're not happy. Have you ever done that? Like, is that part of, or do you?
hesitant, yeah. Maybe at the beginning, maybe when I first started, maybe my first book, 75 poems, Lady of the Sea and other poems. Um, I was hesitant because it was my first ever. But the thing is, with me, I like to imagine that I have, they have these panels like for Comic Con, for when, comics when
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
created,
yeah,
movies when they're created. They have brainstorming panel which sits
yeah,
down. So in my mind, I am always now before I get an idea, I have a brainstorming panel. So I am thinking about ways it would work, it wouldn't work, the right way to use it, the wrong way to use it. I
yeah,
mean, how could this be taken? Uh, and I have a brainstorming panel, a virtual brainstorming panel, which I keep. Basically, it's putting an idea in the back burner. So when the idea is ready, then I know. I get that passion, that flame inside me. Just go ahead and do it. So
yeah,
then I start developing the
yeah,
work. Like I'm going to write a series on AI as well. It'll be a fiction. It, there are two series in my mind I'm working on. I've put it beside my in my
yeah,
back burner, my virtual panel. Two
yeah,
series, and I haven't written a scrap. I don't write anything. Unlike my dad would write a lot of notes. He would write a lot. But I developed the method of not writing too many notes because I found when I write notes, I forget where the notes are kept, and I get pretty lazy trying to type all those notes back into the computer. So now it's a question of I either sit with my laptop and I say, go ahead, that's it. So even if I'm watching a movie, seeing a documentary, I'm writing. My ideas are flowing and I'm writing.
wow,
So I reached that level of creativity. So it's like a pinch of salt now. I can sit with say after this conversation and after I come back after going out and enjoying myself with my wife and we go out
yeah,
strolling and
yeah,
having a few good things to eat. I'll come back in the night at about 11 o'clock and I will sit with my laptop, put on something on television, whether it's a series or a documentary, and then I'll
yeah,
start typing my
yeah,
work till about 3 o'clock. Because sometimes the ideas keep flowing. So sometimes at 4 o'clock, particularly at weekends, I keep writing, and then I know I've exhausted my ideas, and that's it. Now's the time to sleep. So then I go to
yeah.
sleep.
Wow, you just write
Even
till
after a
you get
busy day,
everything out
yeah.
of your
Even
head.
I mean, now it's 12:09. We'll be out for about 4 hours. I'm putting 4 hours down for my wife and I to be out and to just enjoy ourselves, have fun, and pick up stuff. And by the time we come back, it'll be about 9 o'clock. So I'll go to sleep at about 4 o'clock today into tomorrow.
Wow,
Yes.
wow. Have you
The day is
so
not ended for me. It's not even the middle of the day for me now.
have you have you ever annoyed somebody by writing so much? Like, because I know people
Yeah,
who are
I
like
think I have. They're
like
like
my
I've got the comment on one or two on Substack. The chap said, uh, "When do you sleep? You just keep writing so much. When do you sleep?"
yeah,
I said, "Don't worry about me. I get enough sleep. 7 hours, I think that's more than enough. Six,
yeah,
7 hours,
for
I think
sure.
that's more than. The thing is, when your body feels refreshed and your
Yeah,
mind is refreshed, then it's fine. Then you know you're ready to start creating again because we are basically creators. And now especially the way AI is moving, it's the year and the age of creation, the age of creators. This is the time when creators have to come into the mainframe now. I mean, 10 years from now, no one's going to say where you're working and where you're going because you'll be creating, you'll be generating work. Uh, and we are idea generators basically because we are the smartest computers made by our creator. I mean, we have all the AI we need. I mean, within us. Yeah. I can't show you web pages, and AI can do that, but I can tell you a range of knowledge that I've accumulated over the years. So I was so audacious as to say I could challenge AI to a creation, story creations nonstop. But that would be impossible because I'm not a machine.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's the goal, to challenge AI at story creation. Means they just need a second and they can create a story.
Yeah.
I'll need like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to create a story.
Yeah. Right now, AI seems to just
it's taking
take
over.
ideas. It has a perception of reality, and it just takes that and smashes it. Oh, this is what reality is, and it just smashes it together, and it's a little weird. But the scary thing is, I think the technology is getting better in like 6 months. Every 6 months, it's getting twice as good.
It's amazing. Yeah, I see it on YouTube. It just keeps moving forward. I think we're going to have a new infrastructure. Society is going to get a new infrastructure, which will be the backbone will be AI, basically.
Sure,
the backbone will be AI. I mean, the way we work, live, and think, and it's all going to be AI. But why? I think there is something else coming, which makes it important for us to know AI. Now, why would I say that? Like before the steam engine came, before the electric trains came, we were moving towards industrialization. Now, what are we moving towards? We are moving towards a new world order where there's, where AI is going to be the backbone, the mainframe. We'll take it for granted eventually. 5 years from now, you won't be even considering AI as a topic because it'll be something as simple as lifting a pen. Now lifting a pen is actually different. I mean, it's alien to lift a pen. I have a stack of pens over here, 6 pens I've never used even. But I thought I'd use them if I need a pen. But I haven't used them because I type straight away.
Yeah.
So now with AI, it's a question of, there was a time when I thought to myself, what's the point in typing all this? When I'm thinking up this story now in my mind, I want it to come out to be published immediately as a story. I mean, why type it all into words? Now we are going to reach that level, that state of creation, where you just think it and you create it.
Yeah, and it's not going to be just
premise,
words.
I created a futuristic novel about 8 years ago, before AI even was the mainframe. It was about a man who discovers a way to create best-selling books automatically. I mean, and that was even before AI was a main topic of conversation. It was Imposter Assassin. It was about the future of book publishing, where everything generates a novel. Everything generates a story. Our conversation is generating a published book right now. That was what my story was about. It was a computer program this man created with his girlfriend. And they would create stories out of happenings, events. So I'm going out now. I go into a bus. I go into the tube, the underground tube. And I'm generating a story as I'm going down because our lives are stories, aren't they? So now if a person is building a bridge or a group making some project, they're generating a story. Now automatically a story is being created with this program. Now this program, which I had already written about at length in my novel Imposter Assassin, is a reality now with AI.
Yeah.
It can happen. Our minds can be linked to a computer and it can generate a novel. So our lives will be linked to computers which are generating stories. Books are being published immediately. I mean, as we finish this conversation, our book will be out. Warren Meets Conrad, The Conversation, published straight ahead to Amazon #1.
I claim all royalties. No, I'm joking.
So that's the thing. It's possible. I mean, now with AI, it's possible. It was just a story in my imagination.
Have you ever thought about writing that sounds like an amazing movie starring Tom
Yeah,
Cruise. Have you
yeah.
ever thought about converting your books into a script or pitching it,
I haven't done that.
especially fiction? You haven't thought, or you have done?
No, I have thought about it because I joined Stage 32, where they give you an opportunity to meet, to have a consultation with a screenwriter. I said it's taking a chance because I have to devote that time to
Sure,
create
sure.
the script, and
Yeah,
then if it falls through, I mean, that's effort, wasted effort. But then they have, I've seen in the States something about options where you can have a story or a novel optioned by a film producers, and a few companies who do that. But it's all for a fee. Now you don't know how
yeah, yeah, yeah.
genuine they are. You don't know whether it works or not.
Yeah, because that sounds like especially it might be an easier sell, that Impossible Assassin. Is that what it's called? Impossible.
Imposter assassin.
Imposter.
Yeah, yeah,
Imposter Assassin. That sounds like a great movie, actually. I'd watch
yeah.
that.
Because
And that's so
it's a
fascinating.
company that controls the world, and in the
Yeah.
sense controls the world by having their hands into everything that we produce as creators. So it's called Swamp, as the organization is called Swamp, but it's basically a publishing company, a conglomerate that employs people as readers, writers, reviewers. So a whole family is employed with this company, doing
Yeah.
things for the company.
Yeah.
So, and they take control. This
Yeah.
one man stands up against that mighty force.
Hmm. That sounds like a reality. Even it's
Yeah,
probably going to happen soon, because
yeah,
it's just like a content producing machine. That's just because we are such big consumers of content, especially with the invention of this, right? We're just
yeah,
holding it in our hands. Give
yeah,
me more, give me more, give me more, and AI is
yeah.
just going to hear, like
Generate.
instant stories that
Yeah,
you don't have to
true.
wait.
Yeah,
Binge watch. You can
yeah, yeah.
binge watch.
No doubt the human factor is important, but then for many people, it's just a question of amusement at that time, entertainment at that
Yeah,
moment you want.
yeah. What do
Basically, that.
you, since you're a futurist, and what do you think about? Do you think we'll get to Mars in your lifetime?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Even this question of immortality, I think death will be treated like a disease, basically. With AI and the advances in science and technology, I always thought that the body can be regenerated in a sense. It's basically cells and tissues, and which are present everywhere, which are basically molecules and atoms. We are nothing but molecules and
yeah,
atoms.
yeah,
At the basic level, we are just rearranged molecules and atoms that resemble human beings, basically. That's what we are. At our basic level, we're just an atom with a nucleus and an electron rotating around it. So the question is, it will be possible. I mean, you may get Branson having the first immortality injection for sure, or Elon
mm,
Musk. You may get them, yeah, but
yeah,
it's possible. Yeah,
yeah,
I think it will be. It's not an impossibility. The
yeah,
thing is, what many people don't realize is that we are just ants. We were created by our creator, but we are just ants. So whatever we can think, whatever we are allowed to think, has been given to us. We are not thinking like gods. No, not yet.
sure,
We never will
sure,
be. We can imagine that, but
yeah,
we will never will be because
mm,
ants cannot think beyond their environment. We cannot think beyond. So whatever idea is put into our minds, or which we imagine we have brilliantly created ourselves, is not really ourselves.
yeah, yeah,
It's much,
yeah,
much bigger than us.
yeah,
And we will never be able to create planets and stars. Our
yeah,
minds will never reach that
yeah,
proportion, that level of creation.
yeah,
So whatever we can create, whatever we can do or are able to do, science, technology, advances in medicine, we are allowed to do.
yeah,
Our brains are
yeah,
allowed to think that.
yeah, yeah,
We are not gods. We never will be gods.
yeah. What do
But
you
in our
think
little
about?
minds, we will imagine we are gods. Man will always imagine that they are gods.
What do you think about when you write, and especially talking about Mars, right? I'm always. Do you think there's a what do you think is the likelihood of going to Mars and finding aliens there, another life form? Do you believe in that? What are your
No, I
thoughts?
wouldn't believe in that in the sense there's a dimension shift, I would say. In the sense there are parallel worlds, possibly different
Okay.
timelines and stuff. Vibrations, because everything is at a vibration. Now, if I move my hand fast enough, it will disappear. You won't see it. Vibration. If a pitching fork moves fast enough, you won't see it. It's a vibration. So everything exists. I exist as me and you exist as you, because we are vibration at a vibrationary level. Our particles are moving so that they form our features, our body, our whole person is formed because of its vibrations. So I'm sure that there are other, again, we are not allowed to create things by ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, I can only talk about vibrations and believe about dimensions and believe about parallel worlds because we are allowed to think we can. We are not thinking ourselves. It's because the universal force, cosmic force, God, has allowed us to have these little ideas in our minds.
Yeah.
That's why.
We have finite knowledge at some point in time, right?
Yeah,
We just haven't discovered it all. We're just in the process of discovering what's
we'll always be at the
the
tip of the
totality.
iceberg, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. We'll always be at the tip of the iceberg, no matter how remarkable ideas may be. Parallel dimensions, different time zones and worlds. Different time zones, that's a dimension. I mean, you're on a different planet, I'm on a different planet. In the sense, we are in different worlds. You have different time, you have a different culture, land. It's different. It's on one world, but different. We are very
Yeah.
different in time
Yeah.
zones, and
Like you're
so those
speaking to
are
me from the
parallel
future.
worlds. Those are
Yeah.
parallel worlds.
Hmm.
Now, someone, it's night for someone somewhere. That's a parallel world. So it's how you interpret parallel worlds and
Yeah.
dimensions.
It sounds like you have an amazing list of documentaries that you watch.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
keep watching so much
yeah.
because it helps as a writer to watch a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watch
So
historicals a lot as well, futuristic stuff, historicals a lot as well, because they all help the mind to. It's basically harvesting the mental field that we have in our mind. It's like a farmer going out. It's just something he does. He goes out, tills the field. So I'm doing that regularly with my mind, and that's
wow,
what I
that's
feel is
yeah.
very, very important. We
Yeah.
must till the harvest, till the field to get a harvest.
Yeah.
Till
Yeah.
the field to get a harvest.
Yeah. It sounds like you keep your mind super active, and it's
Yeah.
always has all
Not
these ideas. It's kind of
intentionally. Yeah,
how,
not
how
intentionally.
how does it feel? Like how does it feel like
It's
being
fun, it's refreshing.
Warren? Yeah. It
It's
doesn't
refreshing in the
sometimes.
sense, think with amazement like a child.
Mm,
You call, like, remember that, be like little children. So the mind must always be amazed at creation. And when you're amazed at creation, ideas come. You don't have to look for ideas, they just flow. Because that's the best way to be in touch with the subconscious mind.
when your mind is so busy and clearly you're like super creative person, you know, do you feel sometimes like unbearable? Is it like a burden sometimes, or is it, or you
No,
always energized by it?
no, no. When I call it a mind overload. When it's too many things, if I want to do, then I just slow down. So that's what I normally do now. I just slow down, think about nothing. The blank mind. I call it the blank mind. So when I go into a blank mind state, so it's about 5 minutes sometimes, blank mind with no thought on my mind, and that's when my mind relaxes. When I sleep, that's in blank mind state, I'd say. I have dreams, and sometimes dreams even become stories. But in a blank mind state, there's no stress, there's no tension. It's like creation and idea creation and story creation for me is not tense. It's not a tense moment that I get stressed or tensed about. No, because I found that when I get stressed and tense, then my thoughts don't flow properly. Then I start fumbling. So now, over the last decade or more, my attitude is to just allow yourself to speak, express your mind, express your ideas, because then that's the best way to flow. Because the minute you try to control it, you're creating a dam, and then you start accumulating stress,
Mm,
tension, pressure. to complete things, to do things, to believe in things. Now, at the drop of a hat, it was yesterday, I created 10 short films for Dancing Elephant Press, where I'm an editor, for the books that were published for the Christmas rush. So I created 10, and the editor will be putting it out. I put it out in an article of mine. So that was fun. I was creating it on Canva. So the element of fun must always be there.
Yeah.
So when you have fun with something, then you're invigorated, you're energized when you have fun creating. But when it becomes a task, I want to write, I must write 100 words. No, then please don't do it. Please don't do it, because you are injuring yourself. It's like a man who can't run but is forcing himself to run.
Interesting, because like any other skill, right? Like I play guitar, and they say like don't practice till your fingers bleed. But we've been told to practice so hard, maybe in your youth, but the pros know how to take care of the fingers, right? They don't practice till they bleed. So you are your instrument is your mind, right? You got to take care of it. And
because it's bad programming if you push yourself too hard. The minute you find you're pushing yourself too hard, stop. Like if you are being forced to write, stop. If you're being compelled to write, stop. You must have the desire to write. You must have the passion. You must feel that burning sensation in your soul that you need to bring it out to the world. You need someone to read it. You need to create it. Sometimes an idea demands creation. And that's it. And that's when I go down straight and write what I need to write.
How do you feel how do you feel? I know every idea is not a winner, but how does that make you feel? Do you get goosebumps when you think of like this is oh my God, this idea is fantastic. I'm going to drop everything. I'm dropping the cooking and telling my sous chef wife, you got to finish the cooking. I have to go write. Have you, right? Do you have, what's that feeling like?
No, I know some people are amazed by the ideas. No, I'm never amazed by my ideas.
Really?
I give the idea, sometimes I reject an idea. You know why I reject an idea? Because I give it time to stew. I give it time to ferment. I call it fermentation. So if an idea comes into my mind and I feel, no, Warren, it's not complete, let it stew. Let it ferment like a bottle of beer or alcohol. Let it ferment. It needs to become richer. And I just store it away.
Fascinating.
And then suddenly it comes back. And then I'm ready for it.
So you are seasoned enough or mature enough to get an idea and process it before. You are more methodical in that sense, as opposed to, that's a great idea. I think a young writer might do that. And
exactly.
Some people, it might be a good idea for some people, but I think you're mature after writing 116 books and 1,000 plus articles. That's a good sign of maturity.
Over 3,800.
Oh wow!
Creations, articles, stories, poems, variety of topics.
If you got excited about every single idea, you would.
I play it down because I know if I don't take an idea, someone else will. So I create ideas and I think about ideas, but I let it stew a bit. And I'll take you when I'm ready for you. I'll pluck you off the tree, like I say, like a fruit. Pluck it off the tree when it's ready and ripe, and then I'll take it. And then I know nothing can stop the idea because it's fully developed.
Yes. Yeah.
It's ready to be created into a full idea.
That is fascinating, Warren. That's a really fascinating concept. I think being brash and chasing every shiny thing is probably not a good idea.
Oh, I've got, could I share my screen just for 2 minutes and then I'll tell you a thank you, and then I'll just share my screen. Is it sharing?
I've never shared screen on this, but let's see.
For presentation? No, not now. No, it did come. No, that's okay. I'll send you the screen sharing permission. Okay.
Oh yeah, I think you need to change your settings, right?
Yeah. No, don't worry about it then. I'll send you the link.
Is it like a Google Doc?
No, it's a little. It was a video. I put it on YouTube. I'll put it on YouTube. Yeah, just a few of my book covers and stuff. So I'll send you the link, no problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Conrad. Thank you. Thanks for this great interview. It was nice having tea in your chai shop.
Yes.
And but next time remember to bring the biscuits, because I like dunking biscuits into my tea.
Yes, Warren, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It was
Have
really
a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year as well. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Enjoy your day. See ya.
You too. Bye. Take care. Thanks, Conrad.